What's up, you guys? Welcome to my workout. Today is February 21, 2024. Don't freak out. This is not a reaction to the peptide therapy I've been on. I actually saw my buddy Joe Bird at the recovery room in Kailua and got a first-class treatment. I'm going to talk about that on a different video, but today, before I go any further, this is my actual workout, so it is not intended as a tutorial, instructional, nor a recommendation to do as I do. A lot of what I do could be dangerous or just outright wrong. So as I go along with my workout, I try to share what and why I'm doing for those who are interested. But yeah, take everything with a big grain of salt. Okay, I'm going to be doing a double kettlebell cleans today. I haven't done these in the longest time. When I was shortly after I certified with kettlebells in 2008, I became obsessed with an exercise called the long cycle or the kettlebell clean and jerk. That became almost the only thing I did for at least a year and a half. I just felt it was such a complete exercise. I almost stopped deadlifting, squatting, most conventional exercises. I became obsessed with kettlebell exercises, as a lot of people do when they first learn them. But today I'm just going to be doing the double kettlebell clean. I'm going to get started. There's a lot to say about this, and I don't want to make you wait too long because sometimes I get a little chatty. And I'm real excited. I'm a little nervous. I have not done this in a long time. You'll see it's a big lift. So I'm just going to get warmed up, and I'll try to explain what I'm doing and why as I go along. By the way, I think my knees are starting to feel a little better. Just getting up from there, that usually kind of sucks, and feels all right. I am not warmed up. I'm never warmed up before I do these, so it's not like I do cardio, foam roll, or stretch. Ugh. I just came in from getting dinner ready, so I'm pretty cold. And my warm-up is usually, or always, a light, graduated version of whatever exercise or skill I'm going to be practicing for the day. Okay, so I have two 12 kilo or 26 pound kettlebells here, and I'm just going to practice or warm up with a little bit of a swing. Actually, you know what? This is not scripted, as you can tell. I'm going to stretch out my legs with a little bit of a front squat. So why don't we go with that first? Fine if I do this first. Stretch. If I do this first, then the swings, they will feel and go much better. Not trying to get too worked up here. I'm just stretching. Okay. Okay. Hip circles. Make sure your toe line's nice and even. Space between the feet looks like a corridor. Woo. Feeling a little bit catchy on the left side here. So these hip circles, I should say. Also try to keep my chest over my hips, but these just help me, once again, the joysticking principle of assessing a given joint system in a 360-degree circumduction. So I'm feeling a little bit of right there. It's a little rocky. So I don't try to force through that. I actually slow down and just maybe just try to polish right in here. It's a little bit, just like, yeah. How are we feeling on this side? That's pretty right here. Ugh, okay, so okay. Swings. I like to start the bells a little bit in front of me. Take a nice deep breath in through my nose. Bring it into the belly here, so that when I do this, I bring a bubble into my belly. So when I sit down on it, it pressurizes it, and I can use some of that pneumatic pressure to assist me in what I'm doing. There is no core stability without that bubble. Okay, here we go. I always prefer to swing double kettlebells over single. I don't like having my hands connected this close together in front of me if I can at all avoid that. And I get better feedback on how my legs, how symmetrical the force development is through my base and in my legs. If one bell swings up higher, that also could tell me the shoulder blades are not set properly. So just like most things, when like dumbbells in each hand, a kettlebell in each hand, I could use a 24 kilo or 53 pound kettlebell, but this tells me more of the truth of what's going on from side to side and front to back. Okay. Light set of cleans. That felt good. All right, let's get the 16 kilo bells. So, if you look at this exercise, I love the kettlebell swing, but once again, I'm a big fan of full body integrated movements. So the kettlebell swing is great here, but I like to see if I can harness some of the energy in my lower body, in my leg that I'm generating out of here, transferring it up through the upper body and landing it or decelerating it in a way where it doesn't slam me at the top. So it's there's some explosion, there's stretch reflex. The stretch reflex is super important on this. So there's acceleration going down and then a very powerful stretch reflex and a deceleration, then power generation or acceleration coming up and then landing and then measuring that energy so that the bell lands gently. All right, enough rest. Let's go. Okay. That felt pretty good. As I go along here, right now, I believe I'm doing 11 reps. I've always done 11, but I call it a set of 10 because I have this weird thing where when I count things, I sometimes miscount. And I never want to think I did 10 when I actually did 9. So my safeguard against that is to always do 11 reps. But as I go up here, I'm going to be focusing more on my breathing and landing or moving these bells as beautifully as I can. So I'm not going to count from this point on. I am just going to do the number of reps that prepare me for the next weight. So these are 20 kilo or 44 pound kettlebells. And let's just see how these go. With double kettlebell cleans, it's a good habit to catch the bells like this with the hands open. It ensures that your hands are deeply seated into the bells and your wrists are not being extended backwards, but more importantly, it ensures that your hands do not get crushed between the bells, because as I'm doing this, you're gonna hear these handles do that. And if you catch your fingers between that one time, you will learn never to do that again. Both on my warm-up sets and on the working sets, I rarely take any of these things to failure. I'm still warming up here. So what I mean by that is when I put these bells down, I should always feel like I could have done 3 or 4, if not more, repetitions. I am going to try to test a maximum today on this, which I don't normally do, but I feel so good from Joe's treatment that I'm going to have a little fun. All right, so the next weight is 24 kilos or 53 pound kettlebells. And for this aging dude, I consider these challenging. I haven't done this in a while. It's not an excuse, but just like anything I don't do for a while, my ability, I'm gonna assume, has regressed a little from what I remember it being, so, and that's okay. I no longer try to make today's workout harder than yesterday's workout. That's a fun thing to do, especially if you're younger, but I've done that enough times to know that I don't need to validate myself like that anymore, although today I might. But that also keeps me, I guess, injury free, or yeah, let's just call it that. All right, enough talk, let's go. All right, so double 53s. Okay. If you haven't done these before, I remember the great Pavel Tsatsouline, when I saw my first ever RKC video on YouTube. I think it was maybe 2006. I remember Steve Maxwell, Steve Cotter. Those are the OG coaches for the RKC. And I remember looking at their website, and Pavel was describing the kettlebell snatch. I believe it was a kettlebell snatch as the closest thing you can do, feeling like the closest thing to getting into a fight without actually having to throw a punch at someone. And back then, the kind of guy I was, that's all I needed. I was sold. But in my opinion, repeated kettlebell cleans, if you're a combat athlete, this feels as much to me like using your entire body to throw a punch and then absorb that punch right away. It's just a unique, there's nothing that I know of that's like the double kettlebell clean. Yeah, it's this interesting mix of using your body to both throw a punch and then absorb the punch that you just threw, and doing it over and over again. Okay, now these, I'm just gonna, shit, I haven't done this in I can't even remember the last time I cleaned. These are 32 kilos or 70-pound kettlebells. I literally don't remember the last time I did this. So I'm just gonna, and I recommend this if you're either re-entering fitness or it's been a long time, however you remember your ability with a push-up, a jumping jack, a squat, that was then and this is now. So you always want to approach whatever exercise and your concept of how good you used to be, put that aside and just approach what you're going to do in a graduated or a gradual nature. So first, I'm just going to see how the following exercise feels. That's it. I just want to make sure that as I kick the bells behind me and I put them out in front of me, they pull me here, they pull me here, that my back is feeling cool with that. Because if I can do that, then most likely I can and stand them up. We'll see. All right. And I would have to say that most of the breathing methodology that I use in everything I do originated from the kettlebell disciplines, the competition lifts, the snatch, the clean and jerk or long cycle, and the jerk. Okay, anyway. I'm just stalling. Let's one rep, here we go. So that was kind of ugly, but that's kind of what I was expecting. And then we just do that one rep. I'm not out of breath. I'm not burning with lactic acid, but an important concept that's always served me well is nervous system recovery. Your central nervous system recovers at a rate that's different from the muscle system and the cardiovascular system. So right now, as I'm standing here stalling and talking to you, my nervous system is figuring out a better recruitment pattern and a more efficient way to do what I just asked it to do a few seconds ago. Okay, and hopefully it's figured that out because I'm ready to go. Once again, just gonna test 1 rep because that's all I deserve. If this goes well, then maybe I'll earn a 2nd rep on the next set. All right. The breathing, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time because I gotta go, but just please observe the breathing. Okay, that was better. Felt pretty cool. Once again, I'm not out of breath and I'm not burning with lactic acid. I actually feel pretty comfortable, but if I were to just try to grab these now and do that again, my nervous system would probably screw up the recruitment sequence and I could hurt myself. Because at 55, I'm a little more fragile than I used to be. So I need to take that into account. Hey, Joe, check this out, man. Look at this. Wow. Normally my shoulder mobility sucks, but Joe is a wizard, man. Not Joe Rogan, Joe Bird, my therapist. Okay. Let's go one more time. Joe Rogan's a wizard too. Now, shout out to Joe Rogan. Okay. All right, here we go. This butt low thing is important. I never want to start from here. This is always bad. My legs. I got to get into my legs. Take that big bubble, that pneumatic bubble, and use it. Okay, so talking to you guys too much, not blaming it on you, but that's not how I usually do it. I don't normally go down and talk. My blood pressure changed during my noble attempt to share a concept with you. So, that's okay. This one, I'll just shut up and go. All right. That's another thing, orthostatic blood pressure. It's very perishable. Forgot that. Put these a little farther out in front of me so I have more of a runway to get them started with. Big mistake is trying to start your bells from here and just blah. I think a lot of injuries occur in just bringing kettlebells up to the rack position. I'll do a separate video later on, but right now I'm just too anxious. Okay, here we go. So on the drop, especially with these heavier bells, on the clean, there's a concept, call it T-Rex arms. On a lot of kettlebell movements, especially cleans and swings, this T-Rex arms thing is going to become a very important concept. I'm resting so I can talk to you, because to me, I don't count a kettlebell clean a clean until it has to start from the rack. I need to absorb all of it and then bring it back. So bringing it from the floor up, that's just getting ready. This is not like, it's not a dead start movement. To me, the value of the kettlebell is in taking advantage of this. I believe it's called a myotatic stretch reflex. But that being said, as these bells are dropping, I'm not just gonna create this long radius and let them pull me forward. From here, I'm shifting my center of gravity, my hips back, so that I can keep my arms attached to my rib cage as these bells enter right here. If, it doesn't matter the weight, if as my bells are dropping, they do this to me, now as they straighten me out, boom, I have this super long radius. They are now very distant from my groin, and I've now gotten pulled onto my toes, and either my back has to take that or the ground, okay? So keeping T-Rex elbows, and you're using your lats to do that, okay? That's why this is a powerful lat exercise. They're trying to pull my arms on the downswing or the downward portion of this movement. They're actually trying to pull me here, and I have to, it's more than isometric, it's a dynamic isometric contraction, because as they're straightening my forearms out, and gaining speed, the force they're exerting into this isometric lock is increasing rapidly, as well as my spinal position is changing. So those factors are what make this just a very reactive exercise. It's like it's truly unique. You can tell I love this. All right, let's go one more time. So it starts here. Okay, I'm tired. So bringing this down, I gotta keep these really close to me. I'm really excited to be doing this with these weights, and I have not, that was an ugly ass overhead press, but today I'm in the mood to test myself, because Joe did such a good job on me, man. I feel so freaking good. Okay. Oh, going back to my point. So, I just was inspired. There are times, this is not scripted. I don't have anything written down over there. Whether I was videotaping this or not, this is what I would just do, except I wouldn't be talking so much. And sometimes I just get inspired to do something. All right. But because that really made me tired and it sapped my core, when I brought those bells down here, if I was just in a big rush like I normally am and just tried to dump them, that's where the injuries can occur. So I've learned every step of a movement, especially when I am tired, to assess and evaluate what my next step is going to be. So if I'm here and I'm tired, then I am going to change what I'm doing. It's when we rush. What is that saying? Haste makes waste. So, all right, let's go one more time. Once again, I am tired, so I'm gonna reset these things. I can actually rest here. It doesn't look, probably doesn't feel that restful, but I can just catch my breath and bring them down somewhat safely. Okay. This walkway is almost a 4-degree slope. And standing this way, my ankles, everything I do here, I'm slightly dorsiflexed in the ankles. So when I put things overhead, especially like kettlebells with their offset load, they already want to pull me backwards on flat earth. So when I'm now facing upslope and all the weight here is going downslope, I have to make certain compensations. So just like putting a wedge under your feet can give you certain biomechanical advantages, so can me facing downslope into this almost 40-degree grade for one final rep. Let's see what happens. I have to be careful because now my weight distribution and the recruitment of the kinetic chains, even though I'm doing the same movement with the same weight, having my feet and my ankles in slight plantar flexion changes the recruitment pattern throughout the body. So I'm just going to test the clean and we'll see how that goes. Ooh, so you see, all right, so and this give and take, because I'm downslope, as the bell is gaining energy, centrifugal force is being exerted on me as I'm accelerating it up towards my shoulders. Now this slope works a little against me. You saw how I got, and then even as I rack the bells, the weight is out here, and it's because I've got more, I'm used to having my weight naturally on my heels. Wasn't ready for that. But I was ready to be not ready for that, so it was okay. All right, let's go one more time. And I do this specifically to, I guess we can use the word confuse. I don't like that word. I do this to give my nervous system an opportunity to learn to do the same thing differently. I guess that's the best way I can put it. All right, here we go. So let's see if we learned anything from that previous rep. Let's get you out there. All right. Left knee doesn't like that. You know what? Okay. Both on the way up and on the way down, left knee does not like 4-degree plantar flexion, so that's okay. We tried. Oof. Everything it's just a test. And you know, even if that went perfectly and I did my mighty overhead press with that, at the end of the day, or at least by tomorrow, who would really care, right? So I learned what I needed to learn from that, and doesn't mean we can't try with a couple of 24 kilo or 53 pound kettlebells on the downslope. Thank you, 32 kilo kettlebells. Okay. All right, here we go. Come on. Okay. All right. That was it. It's been a few days since I actually huffed and puffed on my short little workout, so Joe set me up well, feeling really good, and yeah, I think I'm good. Anyway, there's a lot of important details about kettlebells, kettlebell swings. I can go on and on, but I'm gonna have to save that for a different video because I need to go in. But if you're still here, I really appreciate you, and I hope this is in some way helpful to you. And much aloha. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.